the market today was pretty flat as in the equity market. It gained 9 basis points after, like you said, it rebounded on Friday after 4 days of straight losses. So some hope, some respite for the market there. So to give us some perspective on the market and the movements that we've seen today, we're joined by Jude Fejokwu, who is Managing Director at Thaddeus Investment Advisors. Jude, thanks for the program. Thanks for coming on the program. So just to get a sense of your views on the market, the opinion on the market trend, how do you see things playing out from here in?
Okay, given that in January we felt that for the whole year we're looking at about 20% for the whole market, our estimates,
Right.
and we did more than that in about 3 months and 2 weeks. So we're not going to be a pullback in the market, which is what we're seeing right now. Now, will it hold the same for the whole year? I don't think so. There'll be some momentum gains going forward. But in the meantime, all the positive sentiments have already been taken into the market already. So there's nothing new to drive sentiment, which drives our market. Is it asset AMCON is already factored in? Is it the banking results? They're already factored in. So nothing new. And again, this is an election year, or almost an election year. People are taking money out for other purposes. That also flattens out business, driving business, all of that. I don't really see what will drive the market beyond just sentiment going forward. But there's no real foundation for it. Fundamentally, sometimes are still below their fair values. But in terms of banks, which is what drives our market, really, most of them are where they need to be. Some are actually higher than where they need to be. So that's where we are now.
Okay, so you see the market trading sideways going forward?
Yes, for the most part.
Right. Okay, let's look at numbers that came out on Friday. Union Bank released a loss after tax of 281 billion. I think many people already expected that. What was your take? Anything else you want to share on those results? In
hindsight, I would say I'm not even sure whether the bailout was a good situation, given the kind of results we're seeing right now. We thought that sell the banks for what they were, all their assets, pay off the liabilities, and whatever gap now exists between after that, let the government now fund that gap and close out the banks. Now you have all this money that has gone into the banks, and we're still getting results that have eroded all shareholder value. You start wondering, you lost in both ways, and that's quite sad.
Well, okay. Now we've seen Union Bank, we've seen FinBank release results earlier. We still have about 5 more listed rescued banks to come through. What are your expectations? Pretty much the same, I guess.
Not as bad as Union Bank. They'll still be negative, but Union Bank is going to be the worst of all. So let's say losses, but not as bad as what we have right now.
All right. So coming to the banks now, obviously you don't like the rescued banks. What about the non-rescued banks? Which stock do you like in that?
Overall, in terms of how they're doing their business, of course, they have their own issues. Our rate GTB is pretty high, and our rate Zenith Bank also. Those two kind of stand out from the rest.
Right.
In terms of value, now as an investor, it's just Zenith Bank that has value. As far as we're concerned, we look at what's the return you're required to make. Are you going to make beyond that? Zenith Bank right now has about 50% return on a gain that has not yet been achieved. And that's what we're looking at for Zenith Bank. GTB, it has value, but not as much that people should need to go into it right now. It's only about 15% gain.
Okay, so for now, you're just buying one bank. Okay.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then what about the non-banks then? Which ones do you like?
In terms of non-banks, definitely fits in healthcare. They're really expanding into vaccines and other things. Based on the profit for June 2010, given where they are now in their price, there's about another 30% gain, more than that actually, in terms of gain going forward, if it unrealized gain. I also have CNI leasing. They're into motors now, they're into paper processing, they're into leasing. Given all those different facets of their businesses, what they have right now in terms of their price is below what they're going to make for 2011 January. Right. On that basis, there's about a ₦1 differential in their price now and what it should be. So there's a lot of value there. One more we'll give is Custodian Allied Insurance. It's an insurance firm. They have the most profit so far in the whole industry. But beyond that, they're giving good value to their shareholders. Looking at 2010, we're looking at about ₦4.86. That's the fair value, but about $3.95 right now. So there's value left on the table there. But those are 3 we'll give you off.
Okay, and lastly, maybe we can go to the World Cup now. Nigeria playing Greece on Thursday. What's your take?
Expect to see us beating Greece, not just because I'm being hopeful, but because in reality, I don't see any reason why we should not. Right. And if we don't do it, then we deserve to come home.